Okay, so I think earlier in the video I was showing that I painted these in gloss. It's actually supposed to be a semi-gloss, so I missed it over that before it had cured completely, just to kind of cut down on the shine. So definitely a semi-gloss is what you're going to want to use on all the black detail pieces, as well as all of the small areas that I think need to be hand brushed. So I just bought little cheap brushes from Joann's. They got some packs that have like different size little thin tips. What I do is spray this into a paper cup. I put a glove on because it kicks back the spray as you're spraying into a cup. That way you don't get any black on your hands. So when you're handling your helmet, you don't get any black fingerprints. So you gotta be careful when you handle the cup that you don't get any black around the outside of the cup. But you see, it's just kind of, I sprayed a bunch, so it's just kind of a liquid form still. And I just wait a little while for the, I guess it's kind of like a solvent to kind of dissipate, so it thickens up a tiny bit. Because if you put it on while it's really runny, what'll happen is it'll cut into the paint and it'll start to kind of bubble and crackle. And so you really want this to be almost like a thick, not like a gel or anything like that, but just a little bit more of a thick state, so that it paints on rather than with, you don't want that solvent to eat away at the paint that's already on here. Let's give it a shot here. Still looks pretty liquidy. And sometimes it takes a couple coats. So here we go. Yeah, it's definitely going to take a couple coats, but like I said, I'd rather have it bond properly than to have it lift up the white paint. So this is going to take a while for me to do this. I don't know if I'm going to videotape the entire process, but just have in mind that this is pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just putting a little bit on the brush and just applying a few layers at a time. And okay, so I went around and hand painted the black. Not really impressed with my hand painting skills anymore. My eyesight's just not what it used to be, or something, I don't know. But so in this area here, or I guess I'll show the bottom here. So paint that black all the way down inside here. Those are the areas that get painted black. All the other black in there is actually like weathering black. This I'm going to spray so I get a really nice finish, but I wanted to go ahead and glue on these pieces first. So I painted all around here in black, so that when I glue that in place, it makes it easier to make sure that none of the white is showing behind it. So I'm just going to use some of the Zap-A-Gap CA glue here. It really doesn't take a lot of this stuff. Stuff bonds really well. What I probably should have done was put a piece of tape here, and here, so when I sprayed the white, there would have been just the natural resin cast material there. That way I'm not gluing to paint. I would actually be gluing to the plastic. So this angles a little bit. The smaller side goes to the bottom, the larger side goes to the top. I just want to make sure this is just trying to get it to the close to the edge as possible. So I'm going to use a Q-tip here just to spread the glue to the edges. Add a little glue there. All right. So CA glue, you pretty much get one chance. So there we go. There's a little bit of the bottom edge showing here, and it should be level at the top edge there. So there we go. That looks pretty. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Alright, so the next is to glue on these. As I mentioned before, I tape them down so that they don't blow away or move around when I'm trying to paint them. Same idea, just need a little CA glue. Now I don't necessarily recommend using a Q-tip to spread around unless you're ready to apply right away, only because I've noticed sometimes the bleach that they use in the cotton swab starts to activate the kicker, or acts like a kicker and starts to activate the glue. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, here we go. All right, so obviously I don't want to spray any kicker because I don't want to make anything run, but this is a little trick. So you can actually just spray some of the kicker on like a Q-tip and then blow into it. Kid you not, just the fumes alone make the glue kick. Now it's not quite as fast if you were to spray directly on, but that's why I didn't like, in another circumstance, if I was to glue something on and I sprayed kicker and tried to glue something on spray kicker, if I would have sprayed kicker here, just the fumes are in the area and the CA glue would start to activate before I could even really apply and make sure I was getting a good bond. That's why I applied all three pieces before even bringing the kicker into the equation. So there we go, got those pieces glued on. I'm going to mask off because I'm actually going to spray paint the bottom. Again, I'm using the semi-gloss black. I did already spray this. I wanted that kind of nice finish on that bottom. This needs to have kind of a curled edge, so when we mold it, it's flat. I mentioned that when I was sanding, and you got to kind of sand to create that kind of rolled look so that it looks like almost a rubber U-channel has been applied to the horn plate or the back plate or whatever you want to call it. And then this one is all painted in by hand. This is, that'll sit there. Well, the horn plate goes on first and then this goes here. So, like I said, I'm not really happy with, my brush work. I did buy cheap brushes, so that does make a difference. Oh, last but not least, that's right, we've got this little spot. That's this little piece, I guess, I don't know, call it kind of like a wafer. I'm going to glue that in right now. I just forgot about that. So you kind of see the grooves, those have to face a certain direction. So let's see if we could do this. I feel like I almost need another hand. All right, so why don't I do this then? Why don't I drop the glue inside here first and then drop the chip? How about we do that? I don't want to overfill this because I don't want any glue spewing out, and it really doesn't take that much glue in the first place. All right, so saying there's the grooves. You want those grooves to run this direction. So wish me luck. Once it goes in, there's really no coming out. There we go. Hopefully you guys were able to see that. Okay, so I've got all of the detailed black areas painted on the tank helmet. This bottom area, I masked everything off and I sprayed it. I'm using the semi-gloss black for all the detail stuff here. So that's kind of that look. So this little dot, this is a little detail that I think a lot of people oversee, and that is a little gray. What is it called? Oh, satin granite. So it's a granite gray. And again, I just sprayed a little bit onto a plate and then just took the brush and just painted that little circle gray. There's not one on the other side, it's just one side. So this is all painted black. I've glued on the detail pieces. So in the front here, so what I'm about to do is prepare to glue these on. You can get neoprene sponge. This is 3/16. It's 12 inches by 54 inches long, but 3/16. So and there's different thicknesses that you need. I forgot what it is for the armor, but this works out pretty good. This is basically a spacer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this in here, and I'm actually going to glue another one on here. So this one in here, I mean, it's got these tabs to attach here. But I want to give it a little more support, so I'm actually going to glue this on, and with it being a sponge, it kind of, if it gets bumped a little bit, it kind of absorbs that. If I feel like if it was something that was hard and it gets bumped, it automatically just wants to break loose. This kind of acts as a little bit of a cushion. And then this is so that when this glues on, you know, it has the recess holes there so it'll align. But again, I just wanted to give it a little bit of a kind of a shock absorber there. So CA glue this in place like so. I forgot to show that I had actually penciled this out, so then I knew approximately where the glue and where this would need to sit. Just kind of press that in place, let the Q-tips are really nice, and you want to keep that nice kind of clean edge. If the glue starts to seep out, you just brush that in there. Okay, so that's about the same depth as the connection points here, just in case you're kind of wondering exactly what thickness that is. I was saying earlier that it's 3 3/16. So, all right, so that, I'm not going to glue this on yet, but I just want to show you. So that's going to line there, that's going to line there, and then I can feel that it's, you know, it's pushing right here too. So that's what I want. So now I want to go ahead and put another one in this outside area here. I'm putting it up kind of high because, you know, you can kind of look up. I really don't want you to see it, and I'm not bringing it all the way to the edge because if you look in, you kind of don't want to see it there either. So I'm trying to make it a little conspicuous as possible, but also let it serve its purpose. Alright, so that gives me the basic area where that's going to go. Of course, my glue has clogged up, and my needle is in the other room, I think. Yep, alright, get back to that.